Let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to go and open up the camera. And just like any of the other repair videos, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the battery compartment from the main board. You get these two little screws out of here. They're different sizes, so keep these separated from the other screws. We don't want to lose them. Go ahead and disconnect this here. Take the SD card out. We have 4 screws on the main case. These are going to be the generic size screws for the Spartan models, so these are okay to mix up. Just don't get them confused with the 2 small ones from the game. Go ahead and remove this one. And then this one. Alrighty, then get this one out of here. There we go. And back to this one. Last one in the main case. Awesome. Get out of there. It'll come out. There, maybe. Little encouragement. There we go. Alright, so keep in mind there is a pin connector connecting to the buttons to the main board. Go ahead and disconnect that. Pull that aside. There we go. Set the front plate off to the side. Now there are 4 main screws on the board. We have to remove those. One. These are the same size as the main case screws, so it's okay to mix these up. Just keep in mind the 2 small screws for the batteries. So here, alright. And one more. This is definitely one of the more tedious jobs for replacement on these cameras. Let's go ahead and flip this board over. It gives us access to the backside. So there's a pin connector from the main board to the IR flash. We'll go ahead and disconnect that. There we go. All right, this gives us the access we need for the PIR sensor cover. This board kind of doesn't want to stay where it wants to. Makes it easy for us to work. We kind of got to work with it. Keep in mind there are two little white wires, one for the antenna and then one for the module. We're going to go ahead and undo these screws here for the PIR sensor cover. Yeah, it's not always easy to work on. Screw out of there. These are also the same size screws as the main case screws. So again, you can mix these ones up without a problem, but keep in mind, keep the little ones away so you don't mix those up. They kind of look similar. 4 screws here. Number 3. And getting on to number 4 here. There we go. Pop that off. And put your hand underneath it and just pop it right out. There we go. And that's how you remove it. Super easy, but it is tedious. Now putting it back is a little more, not really more interesting. It just, you got to keep in mind some things. Like the PIR cover here. You have to keep in mind there's these little black boxes on the bottom and the long rectangles. The little black boxes go on the bottom. Yep. There we go. Flip it over. You'll be able to see a little bit better. Yep. Those little black boxes, like I was just saying, go on the bottom. What I like to do is bend it kind of into a shape so it'll fit the housing a little bit better. And it won't pop out on you. Flip this back over. Now we do everything in reverse with gravity working against us. So that'll go on. Housing will go on next. I've been doing this for a little bit, so I found my own way to do it. Add this one back in here. There we go. This little electric screwdriver makes it so much easier. And I've said this before. You got to get yourself one. They're pretty good. Number 2. There we go. Again, we're just doing this right in reverse, so nothing too hard here. It is tedious, I will give it that. Number 3. All right, get that one into place. There we go. And number 4. Awesome. Last one is going in. Maybe. There it goes. Perfect. Awesome. Now we gotta do the harder part, which is connecting the IR flash to the main board. It is hard to do if you're not used to it. So I kind of pinch it with my fingers the way I'm holding it here, and makes it easy to slide in that connector without much force. Oop. That also happens. There we go. Slide that. Careful. There we go. I pop that back in there. It sits in there pretty firm. It's not just gonna slide out. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and reattach this main board to the main case. And do keep in mind that this little black and white wire at the end down there near the battery. It does like to pop its head out from time to time, so when you put the main case on or the button case on, it likes to stick its head out. So keep in mind to tuck it behind the board. Again, there are 4 screws. We're just going to put them all back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Get that guy back on there. There we go. Alrighty, let's put the main front cover back on for the buttons. This little connector's not that much harder to put back on. You do it about a dozen times, you'll get used to it. Alright, square up the case. Make sure the corners are all good. Only 4 of the same size screws left. Plus those 2 little ones. Yeah, see, they look very similar in size. Easy to mix up. Just keep them separated and you won't have a big deal. Again, just working in reverse for what we did earlier. There we go. Add that one back in there. Excellent. Nice when they go in without fighting you. And last one for the case screw. Alright, last thing to do is put the battery terminal back together. That one goes in there. Tuck the wire, makes it look nicer. Like I said, don't lose them. There we go. And the last one. That one's good. And that's it. Put the SD card back in. Turn it on. And there it is. That is a replacement of a PIR front sensor.